All right, Zoom. Look at where he is, way up there. Hi guys, how you doing today, guys? All right. Wow, he's hauling. All right. Cool beans. All right. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing today? All right. Let's see here. We're on here on YouTube, and we're also on Zoom Live. So let's go ahead and see what's going on here. All right. Hi, everyone. How you doing today? It is 7 o'clock already. Daylight's. Everyone lost an hour today for daylight's. What is? It's not even daylight savings time anymore. It's daylight uh, almost savings time, which means you haven't saved any time. You lost time. So, all right. Good evening. Good Sunday afternoon. How are everyone doing in YouTube land? How are you? All right. First of all, I want to let you know that good evening, good afternoon, and also most of all, I want to say is this: is Corporate Credit Blueprints. We're here to rock and roll, to have things happen for you. And since we're live on Zoom, we're also looking forward to seeing you folks everywhere where we're all over this place. Because pretty soon next week, we're going to go ahead and be in all places from LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, all the other ones that what's the 10 there's some other ones, small ones, but I just want to say that we're going to be in all those areas. So I just want to make you aware that we're looking forward to have you there today. Now, if everyone forgot about the daylight savings times, that's okay. So as we begin, it's 7:01 in Mountain Time. It's 9:01 Pacific Time, and it is, guess what, 8:01 on Central and 6:01 on Pacific Time. All right. So what we want to go over is Corporate Credit Blueprints. Is we want to here's what we want to go over. Is one thing you want to begin to remember about building business credit is not the same as building personal credit. I know a lot of people they have a misconception about the business credit and the personal credit. The personal credit, a lot of people understand that, which they know that on the personal credit side, that you end up having you apply for credit, you get credit. If you mess it up, it does this, then your score goes down. You apply for credit, they ding you for the credit. If you go ahead and apply for credit and don't get the credit, they even hit you harder for not receiving the credit on the personal side. But one thing about business credit, it does not hurt you personally if you structure the organization or your business credit properly. Business credit is an opening to where you actually get the full force of using OPM, which is other people's money. Now, it does take time to build it. Even if you have a perfect personal credit score and looking to build your business credit, you're still going to be on the hook. Today, I heard someone on YouTube advertising, hey, get unlimited amounts of credit, business credit, but the thing is, they're not telling you that you need to personal guarantee these credit cards. See, I don't have a problem of someone personal guaranteeing their business credit, but the credit that you receive, are these credits going to allow you in 18 to 24 months to get out from underneath that through the business itself only? And this is what a lot of people won't tell you. Some cards won't let you off the hook. They will not let you off the hook. That means you're either going to have to go ahead and pay the card off. You can leave it open if you wish for an emergency, because I never suggest closing them. But you're going to begin to figure out how to use them in a way that you can leverage the money. But you want to get yourself off it just in case. For instance, what happened when COVID-19 hit last year this time? A lot of you were hurting. A lot of you needed money. Now a lot of you are holding your heads down. Some of you are in shame because you figured you failed. You never failed. What happened is that no one taught you that the storm is coming and it will affect you. Again, there is another storm coming that a lot of you don't realize is going to show up this time next year. And I'm telling you, inside of the business credit is that you want to shore yourself up at least 3 times the amount of what your business bills outgo that you have every month going outgo, whatever that is. If it's $30,000, $3,000 a month on outgo, you want 3 times that in business credit, in credit lines. Also, you want to have that also available to you in your trade credit, your vendor credit, and your business credit. You want that kind of money available to you even in the midst of the storm. So if you need to go ahead and buy, and these are 30-day nets. These are not cash credit lines I'm talking about right now. Your 30-day nets are also going to be your benefit because that's other people's money. In case you need to build something, in case you need to acquire something. What about now on top of this, when you have that kind of stuff, you can order lumber. You can order a window to be built in your shop or something, or whatever you have to even create a drive-through. If you need to go ahead and buy food to go ahead and sell for your merchandise, for your truck, for your restaurant, for whatever that might be, or what other products you might need. See, this is what Walmart, I've said this before in a lot of the seminars, I'm going to bring it up again. In the Walmart, what you do is that you have everything on that shelf. Walmart does not pay for. They don't pay for those products up front at all. They pay for it by estimating how many customers are going to have to come in, what's this product going to do, where is it going to move, and they buy on volume. All right. You too can buy on volume if you want to. If you can't buy it now, eventually you can. What you want to remember is this, is that when a customer pays at Walmart or Costco or Apple or Bezos, which is, you know who that is, all right? So what you want to begin to understand is this. They don't pay for a lot of their stuff up front. They pay for it within 30, 60, or 90 days, depending on the agreement they have with the vendor they're dealing with. Now, one of the things, what I attempt to encourage and teach and train the people that are in our organization, because a lot of people in our organization that are with us, the reason why they're with us and decide to go with us because we've been there before. I've been around since 1985. I've showed some of the stuff. My first also real estate transaction I did that was funded and where the person was the financer, was a for sale by owner. Then I have all the option contracts that I did. And I also informed you a lot of the stuff that I started out with was with Dave Delgado and also Carlton Sheets. Now, a lot of those products and the contracts have not really changed other than the rules and regulations. Key point, that's important, okay? Understand it. And also they say content and context is very decisive. So this is one thing that I let people know. What they're teaching now is the same thing they taught back in the 80s and early 90s. And some of it didn't change too much in the mid 2000s that much. Now it's shifted it because of what happened back then in 2008 and the rules and regulations and so on and so on. Whatever happened in the market when they sold the contracts before for, you had a 2-year loan, but it was a 228 and there was a 327. It was a 3-year loan with 27 years to, after that 27 years to pay, which was a 30-year loan. But also it was an adjustable. Now, back then, one of the purposes why it happened that way back in the 2000s is because back in the day, there was the thing called a hard money lender. We still have them today, but it's different. But the hard money lender, what they did back then, it was like 18%, 18 points, whether it was on 60,000, whether it was on 70,000, 100,000. Sometimes it depends where the money came from. They might give the client a break on the points, but the investor wanted to meet a certain criteria on the money, and most of the money that came at that time was from China. You had a lot of people that were investors, and we had a lot of private investors that were from China, and they were of the Oriental descent. They were doing money on the real estate with no problem. Now it's changed a little bit. They don't have that anymore. But what happened when they did those 228s, they changed the rules for the 228 and 327 because they didn't like the hard money lenders making that kind of money. And on top of that, a lot of people couldn't afford to pay the balloon payment that was due in a year or 2 years, maybe 3 years tops is the most they would go. Now, when they created the new loans for the 228 and 328 for the lenders that came out, like you had your Countrywide and all your subprime lenders back then, what happened is that they changed the rules so the fact they can get into the game. So they got into the game, and now they knew that people could not make those payments after the 2 or 3 year term was over because it would jump. It would jump from 7 or 8% to 14%. They already knew up front that the average person that's on an average, working pay, there's no way the person's income was going to jump that high. So they made the credit scores a little less to go ahead and meet the criteria. Like some of them even had, zero down, zero zero down, no down payment, and you didn't have to have any assets to go ahead and zero assets if you had the right score. They had somewhere it was okay. We didn't have the right score enough. You had to go ahead and then state your income. It was called stated. Stated was you stated your income, stated your assets, and you signed. But that was a horrible one also because they blamed the lender who signed up for that. For instance, if you were a loan agent, you got blamed because the client that signed that said, well, yeah, here's what I make, here's my assets. It was stated, no proof. This is when Obama organization came in and made the rules, and it just tore the mom and pop shops. See, folks, you got to begin to understand how are the rules written for your benefit and not. Now, inside of a business itself, one thing you want to begin to understand is a lot of stuff we've been around. We understand what it's like to go ahead and lose and not do a job. You lose your business that you planned so much for. You told your family, you know what, this is going to work. And it was working. But it was working in the midst of without the storm. See, everything that we've designed and everything that we do is designed for a storm. It's designed for when it's coming. It's designed for when it hits. We understand the pain that you bring home. All of us have been there, done that, and been through it. Some of us lived in garages for a while. Some of us lived in our cars for a while. The people that work here at this organization, we've been through the gamut, or you want to say the gauntlet. And I'm telling you, I really get it. This business world has no mercy on any individual. See, that goes through business. They don't. And if you don't understand the game and aren't prepared for the wave that's coming, and I'm not saying, lions, tigers, and bears, oh my, I'm not saying that. I'm not even saying that the sky is falling, like the story in the chicken. What I'm saying is you want to be prepared for when it does happen, because you don't live in a perfect world. In the perfect world scenario, yes, you keep making money, you keep growing 10% a year, and it keeps growing and growing. Never going to miss a beat. I'm sorry, that's not how it works. Yet, when you have the right business structure and the right business finances in your business, which means you keep building your business credit on a daily basis, and I mean daily, okay, that could be kind of like far-fetched, but in my world, in my business, it's daily. Why? I'm always looking, always seeing, always learning, because my thing is to make sure the people that actually have joined up with us, that they have the best way to get the revenue they're looking for, and at least once they get their score. That's the hardest challenge. That's the biggest challenge for most people, is getting that score in the beginning. Whether you have a perfect score, whether you can go ahead and get a hybrid program where you can get the credit lines, you're still going to need Dun & Brad to go ahead and give you a score. You're still going to need those little things in the beginning. But after that, after you're 90, 60 to 120 days worth, When you get the score, then we can start ramping things up. See, there's different tiers. There's five reporting things in the beginning, number one. Number two, you have another tier where it's 8 reporting to get to another level. Then it's 10 reporting for another level. Then it's 12 and 14. When we get to 14, 14 is now where you have most of the stuff that you need. You're gonna start applying now for, guess what? You're gonna be applying for your auto leases, which means you get a credit line. I'm just using Ford for right now because that's the recent one that came up. I can use Mercedes. I can use whatever that is. 3 months ago, someone had a Mercedes. They got approved for $225,000. Okay. Now you can blow it on one car, of course, a Mercedes, or you can buy a couple. Or you Ford, $185,000. How many vehicles you want to get there to use whatever it is for your business? Might be a pool business. Might be a lawn mowing business. It might be a business where you go ahead and maybe you have a business that you need for little cars, or maybe you have a restaurant business, or maybe you're going to start a restaurant business, or maybe you're going to start a hot dog coach, a trailer. We can buy a trailer for about 17 grand, get it all fixed up, what you need, get the license, get the permits, get the hot dogs and the hamburgers and all the stuff you need, get them all on vendor credit, and maybe you can find a trailer and get approved for the trailer to lease the trailer. Or lease or buy it, however you want to do. Maybe lease 2 trailers. And then it's going to cost depending what counties you're in. Each county has its own license you need to apply for. Now maybe you want to apply for 4 counties, so you get 4 trucks. Average truck could make anywhere between $1,000 a day to $3,000 in a week, but it all depends on you where you're going to be at. See, these are things that people don't begin to tell you, and I don't care. There's people that are teachers that have PhDs that are running hot dog trucks, and they're making more than they were teaching. So, how about that one program I told you about? The guy had the Uber. He bought all the cars in Uber, and if you can drive, you're already pre-insured. And you drive the car, you go up, they give it to you, and it's tracked. And out of the system, when you put in to pay, when they get paid, the thing is, guess what? Their payment comes out for the car. The insurance is paid for. Uber gets paid. Everyone's happy, and what's ever left over, that's their money. They can spend it any way they wish. So what I want to make you aware of, again, we have a lot of seasoning in us where a lot of people give a lot of good lip service, which means they say great stuff, and most of the stuff is right on. But what they're not preparing you for is the storm. Okay, great. I get $300,000 because I signed my life away for the business credit. That means you personally guaranteed it. That means you have, like during the Revolutionary War, like the British, you had that big white X on your front chest and your back, a perfect target. You do not live in a personal, in a world that's not, you don't live in a perfect world, in other words. None of us do. Anything can happen every 90 days. Every 90 days, this is what happens in the business world. You must be looking every 90 days, not only every 90 days, 5 years ahead, 8 years, 10 years, and 20 years. And then you got to begin to tweak it as you going down the road. But also, if you know, every 90 days, things are going to happen and appear. One thing you'll learn, that the strategies we give you prepare you if it just shows up. No one really knew, on the average person, that the COVID was going to be, okay, great, we're shutting down. Nobody even knew that. Now the higher ups did, excuse me, the higher ups did, but also you must remember is that not only did the higher ups know, the thing is that most people weren't ready. Why? It happened to me back in the early 90s, mid 90s, getting close to 2000. You get cocky. You're making money. I don't need credit. What do I need credit for? I'm making, $7,000, $10,000, $20,000 a week, like in business, all right? You're doing good. But when the money stops, where do you go to after you drain and deplete your money you even put aside? See, this is the most foolish thing that people can do. When you can prepare your business, and like I said, If your outgo every month, whatever dollar amount from $3,000 or $1,000 to $30,000 to $100, you want to have 3 times that amount in business credit available at all times. And that can be done easily. There's a strategy that we actually have that works brilliantly, so you'll never ever have to be without. Even when you lose, you will win. And see, in the organization and build and at corporatecreditblueprints.com, we have one thing in common with everybody out there, whether you're 18 years old or 225 years old, it doesn't matter. There's one thing we have in common. We have been through the pain and drugged through the gutter, which means a lot of us bitten the bullet by everything we've learned has been from the school of hard knocks. We've graduated from the most highest organization there is on this planet, and that is being taught the rough way because no one was willing to show us in the beginning. We are now willing to teach people and show people that are serious about moving to the next level in their life to what it is to have security in finances, which means you have money ready to go. That means you have operation money. You're able to go ahead and invest in a new business if you wanted to. And it's not because you signed personally for it. Now, granted, there's some people say, in order to get big money, you're going to have to go ahead and personal guarantee, and you're going to have show tax returns, and you're going to need to do all this. Yes, anything over $50,000, that's going to be a very accurate statement. But we've designed our program where you won't need to do that because we know the rules of the game. And it's very simple. So if you wanted a $500,000 in cash line credit, would you care if you got 10 lines at $50,000? No, you wouldn't. We show you the structure, how to do that completely and be a champ in what you're doing. So if you think about it for a moment, how many of you out there been in a place before that you were saying, I'm doing good, but your instincts told you, your business sense told you, I need a little more money to go ahead and possibly do this, or at least save or use that money and save the cash. See, cash is going to be one of your most valuable items. I'd rather put the cash away and then use the other money like Walmart does to go ahead and pay for the product because I know I have the clients. So let me ask you, wouldn't another $6,000, $5,000 a month make a difference for you in your life? Would that make a difference if you can learn to have someone a management team that they advertise on all these YouTubes all the time now I don't know which ones are really good or not because I have not really applied to them. There's one company they apply to that the product that receives doesn't even really, now I tell you, we invest to look at things. I mean, wouldn't you expect folks when you buy something or product from somebody that they say, okay, it's downloadable and you log into their account and it's supposed to work, but it doesn't? It doesn't matter if you have a partner and your partner works at your partner site. That's great for him or great for whoever, right? But if it doesn't work on your side, does that make that product valuable? How many of you have been there? See, we invest that kind of money to see who's real and then who will be willing to fix it. None of them are. So far, I'm batting 1,000 on that. When people say they do certain things, they don't do it. They won't fix it. Well, if it works over there, it's not our problem. Really? We invest that kind of money and you don't think that's your problem? Okay, not a problem. So now I reached out, I've given opportunities. So if it's not done by next week, I'm gonna blast out who it is. And I'm gonna tell the other person, you know what? You should probably go tell your credit card company to go ahead and take that back because they lied. It doesn't work. It should work for everybody. If worst case scenario, they should be able to go ahead and come in and fix it so it works for you. Because guess what? There is no excuse when you buy something from somebody, which means you buy a downloadable item or even get a PDF that you can't even download. If that doesn't work, then guess what? Then they should go ahead and refund your money, okay? So I'm laughing because of the fact is it's people don't really get that. And that's what we do to make sure our team doesn't get burned, because that's one thing that's really important. So, and anyways, so this is the things I'm talking about. We have the experience. We go through things. We buy products. We buy other people building programs to look. And I said before, pretty much everything's the same. The only difference is who's talking and what they're saying and how they say it. There's another gentleman out there, folks, I'm going to tell you about the business world. He advertises my clients get this, they get $300,000. One has got, $250,000. But read the whole thing. Does it say no personal guarantee? It doesn't even indicate it. It's playing on your ignorance of, oh, business credit, $300,000. Cool, I can use that. But they never tell you, call them. This is what we do. We call them, and even when they, hey, we tell them, no, our credit's really not that good. Then they try to sell you something else. Then they move you over to another program. But he won't say that online. See, that's why we tell you, we have everything from a person that if their credit is like 200, I don't know if it's possible to go that low. I know 300 is the lowest you can go, but I'm saying even if it's down to 200, we still can go ahead and work with you. It doesn't really matter about your business credit. I mean, your personal credit at that time. Business credit, you can build it even if you don't have a good score at a personal side. One thing you want to also begin to understand is this. Even if you have great credit, you're still going to have to do some things that are going to go ahead and probably be either uncomfortable, whatever it is, and so on like that. So it doesn't really matter about all the stuff that you go through, but each and every one of you is going to go through a challenge that we don't need. Will be okay. So one of the things I want to let you know is this: the most beautiful thing about working with corporate credit blueprints, we understand the pain that you're going through. Now, here's another thing. For those of you who still have survived the storm, those of you, some of the you did it. Congratulations to you. That's awesome. Now, one of the things you want to begin to remember for yourselves also is this: what have you done to structure your organization to go ahead and take the business credit that you have, and how have you multiplied it, not through business, but how have you multiplied it to where, let's say you have 2 million in business credit. Where have you multiplied that 2 million where it's worth 20 million? What's 2 million times 10? Isn't that 20? So that'd be 20 million. So it's worth 20 million. Have you structured your place that way? How have you done that? Have you done it to where it would not go ahead and cause you any problems? That you actually have the OPM, more money to deal with? Some of you can open up a franchise if you even had $1 million in business credit. A small franchise. You want a McDonald's? Go check the McDonald's. How much is that? I think it's 2.25 million. And they set it up. And remember, when you work for any franchise, you cannot change the menu because their menu is already based on a success strategy. See, this is what I'm talking about, is that a success strategy is what we actually have in place for everyone that joins us, as long as they're willing to follow the walk, which means follow the instructions that we're taking you down, not which I talk to this person, I talk to that person. No, that doesn't matter who you've spoken to. You want to speak to some people? Let me ask you a question. Do you want to go to a mechanic if you have a heart problem? Do you want to go to a car mechanic if you have a heart problem? I don't think so. You might want to go to a mechanic for your car. You might want to go to a heart specialist for your heart. See, we specialize in few major areas. And the few major areas are: 1, business credit; 2, the real estate industry. We've been there. Same thing in the business credit. We've been there. And then the personal credit. We've been there too. Those are the 3. Look at that. And on top of that, you want to begin to understand is that you have these other things that you want to begin to understand about that you want someone that's whole and complete inside of that particular industries you're looking at, or even getting the business structure complete. One thing about this, the authenticities that we do have about the business credit is that we're definitely authentic about everything. We're definitely point blank. When we interview, we don't take everybody with us. We only take people that are willing to do what's necessary inside of, okay, great, you know what? I want to go to the next level in my building my business credit. I want to go to my first level in building my business credit. There's nothing wrong with you, even with the beginners. If you're 18, if you're 18, you can get way further ahead than the person that's been around for 10 years already in the business. And I'll tell you why. Actually, you would move a lot faster than we have moved since 1985. And why? Is because we've already gone through the roads that you won't have to go through. Will you go from growth spurts? Absolutely. Some of you get to the point where you're growing, and if you have the credit lines, you'll have the money for the payroll to carry you for sure for 90 days inside the business that you're working and growing. Why do I say that? Is because that's usually what stops people. They don't have the money to grow for the next stage. So at Corporate Credit Blueprints, we do have a story to tell. And the story is, what would it be like if there was somebody that you knew that really needed your assistance and help in life, but you couldn't do it because you didn't have your business going correctly? Then on top of that, let's say that if you actually hire them, that every other insurance company they applied for to get insurance on the personal side turned them down. But since they come to work for you, they're able to go ahead and get insurance through the corporation, which the person cannot be denied or turned down. Now they have the insurance to go ahead and pay for whatever they're going on. And let's say that was a family member that you hired. Wouldn't that make a difference in your life, knowing that you were able to contribute and give back that way? Remember all these little things that make a difference in your life. Do you want somebody that doesn't know what they're doing? Do you want someone, oh, you know what, they seem so this way or that way, and I like them, so I'm going to do that? Well, see, here at Corporate Credit Blueprints, I'm going to say something kind of probably weird, is this. It's not, we don't worry about you liking us. What we do is we learn your dream, and then we build your dream with you. And from that point, whether you like us or not, here's the best thing. You'll be able to say, I don't like them, but I sure like the way they operate because they came through and helped me and assisted me with my dream. See, these are the things that become possible inside of an organization when it's not just about themselves. One thing about this, everybody here at Corporate Credit Blueprints, they don't need your money because we have the money. Now, which means this, whether it be in the business credit or doing business, we still have the money either way. One can go empty, the other one's still there. Also, there's a lot of other things to remember is debt follows tax ID. Debt follows tax ID. So with that said, folks, I know there's many things that I covered tonight in a short, brief period of time. But I really want to say to you, what is your dream that has not been fulfilled? Because you say, when I have my money one day, or when I get enough money saved here from doing this and that, then I'll expand and do this or that. Why would you want to do that when you have access to hundreds and millions of dollars at Corporate Credit Blueprints in the structure, and we show you how to get it? This is one of the few places that I know for a fact. Go Google this, go check it out, however you want to do it. It's like this. What you invest, our minimum investment that you would invest, if you got 10 times that back, wouldn't that be worth something to you? A lot of you graduate college and you spend, maybe $20, $30, $40, $50,000. You're willing to slap down that kind of money, they call them racks in some slang, so I'm gonna just say it that way. You're willing to lie down in 1 rack, 2 racks, 3 racks, which is I believe a rack is 10 grand. So if I'm doing it correctly, cool. If not, let me know. But one thing I want to let you know, they're doing 3 racks, and they get out and they don't have anything. They have a piece of paper that says you went to school to get the right answers, but you never got the structure of getting beat up, spit on, booed off stage, going through the ups, downs. They only taught you how to answer questions and get the right answers and go work on the plantation or be slave for another organization. That's it. They never teach you how to be free with what you've learned. Nothing wrong with what you've learned. Now you have to unlearn of getting the right answers to learn there's a buffet of answers for the one question that you're asking. Here you made the you hope when you get out of college that you get your money back, let alone pay a bill. Here, you'll see results. 30, 60, 90 days. We had someone here just the other day, and I was taken back when I said this. They went to BP and they got approved for $11,000. Now, this is what they told me, okay? They said they got approved for $11,000. And I said, how'd they know? They said, well, they told me over the phone. Okay, that's not a problem. And they said they're going to be mailing the cards out. Okay, that's not a problem too, because that's how it goes. Now, when it comes in, I asked them to go ahead and make me a photocopy of not the number, of course, but they tell you what your credit limit is on the paper. All right. So to make a photocopy so I can show you folks. Of course, the name won't be exposed, address, or just the card number at all, but it'll say from BP. Anyways, and he applied for 3 other cards. So it was total 4 cards he was supposed to go ahead and apply for. I believe the first 3 cards, they're all MasterCards. MasterCards. All right, they were MasterCards. Doesn't matter what company, they were MasterCards. And they were the 30-day MasterCards. They weren't the revolving ones. All right, because he was not at the revolving level yet. He got approved at BP for $11,000, MasterCard. And then, I'm just going to tell you, he received at least 3 times his amount of his investment within, maybe 60 days, maybe at the most. And then he applied for another program, which we directed him to, which is the SAFE program, because he will not be on the hook for that very much longer. But the thing is, he's approved for $60,000. All right. So he's already received at least 30 times his initial investment. So what I'm saying, that's the thing I'm talking about. Your investment, whether it's if you even got approved for a gas card for $6,000 in a gas card, and you say you paid half of that, you still, So what you want to begin to understand is that you will receive a return. And then you have OPM now, it's your choice to figure out how you're going to use it. We'll give you our ideas because we're not here to be your attorney. We're not here to go ahead and be your financial advisor. We're not here to be your CPA. What we're here is just to let you know what we do and what we are doing. What we have done doesn't matter. Most people only care about what's your strength? What depth do you have? When the storm comes up, are you going to be there? Or better yet, none of the storm comes up. Have we prepared you for the storm? This is one thing I want to let you know again. For all of you out there that are just beginning, don't know how to begin, it's not that hard to do. The structure's simple. We give you the directions, ABC, 1, 2, 3. And what I mean by ABC 1, 2, 3 is this, is that you will never be disappointed on the return you get as long as you put in the work. We have people that go ahead and invest in building business credit, then they go sit on the bleachers and don't expect to be on the court. You've got to be on the court to play to win. If you're not playing to win, I'm going to be real honest with you, and this might seem harsh. We want you to win. But if you're not willing to play and get on the court, we're not willing to work with you. We're not willing to work with you at all. All right. So one thing I just want to let you know is that we're honored for the ones that have decided to go with us, the ones that decided to go ahead and make it happen. And we just want to say that we thank you very much for everything you've done, for those of you who worked with us, even for those of you who have called and just kicked the tires. I'm glad you kicked the tires. And I know I referred you to 3 different places each time I do. I have 3 people to refer you to because I know what level they're going to teach you. And it's a real basic level, nothing wrong with that. And then maybe when you get done, you can go ahead and get over and do what you need to do. But remember this, all your whole life is always about what are you going to do? How are you going to participate? Are you going to get on the court? Or are you going to go ahead and wish someone can do it for you? Now, we can do it for you with a lot of expertise, but the expertise, we actually charge for the expertise. I'm going to tell you straight up, if we had to build it for you, it'd do all the work. It's a good figure. I'm going to tell you a minimum of $10,000 just to start, just to get going, because of the fact we're doing the work. Then you get a guarantee. What we can guarantee is that you'll get 3 times the return on your money that you put on the business, because of the fact we know the return what building business credit does. So, folks, you have a great week. You have a good evening. You have the most wonderful time. And remember, give us a call at 888-471-4252, extension 2001. Thank you very much again. Or go to corporate credit-blueprints.com, corporate-blueprints.com, and receive your free booklet today. And also, you want to get free consultation? Go to corporate-blueprints.com, and guess what? Go there, set up a time, and we'll call you back. And we'll go ahead and set up a time where we can spend a free 30 minutes with you. Tell us what you're looking for. Tell us what you need to do and what you want. And one thing about the whole thing, listen to this very carefully. We're not going to sell you anything. Why? You're calling because usually you want something. And if you want something, tell us what you want, and we'll tell you what you're looking for. We'll work with you and tell you this is what we suggest. And from then on, it's on you. We don't beg anyone to go work with us. We don't do that. Either you're really a serious person or you're not. Either you're going to build your business or you're not. One thing about this, if you're going to kick the tires, this is the wrong place to do it. Because here's the thing. We want people that are really up to a big game. And a big game means, hey, I really want to get started and I'm willing to follow and follow the instructions so I can go ahead and accomplish the dreams. Because you have someone here on the team here. This team will definitely make sure that you will get to that point. Yeah, sometimes you can get a little mad at us because say, look, you need to finish this before we move on. So one of the things I want to let you know, even if you're 18 years old and you're willing to get on the court and get on the basketball court, bounce the ball, dribble up and down a few times, and then when you get up to make a score, someone kind of slaps the ball out of your hand, that's exactly what's going to happen, because we're going to train you that's how life begins. So with that, folks, we just want to say, God bless you. You have a great evening. And most of all, remember this. You are awesome. Thank you very much and have a good evening.